Greetings. This is Amy Wentley with Chai Knuckles Knitting, and this is episode 2018-2, Knitting a Speed Swatch. I'm working with a group of students at the Hillsborough Yarn Shop on the Galloway cardigan by Jared Flood, and this cardigan requires 2 swatches for the colorwork portions of the sweater. The sweater is knit in the round with steeking, and so to really give us a good indication of our gauge, it would be awesome if we could knit a gauge in the round, but that would take hundreds of stitches and a lot of time and a lot of yarn. So instead of doing that, we do a speed swatch, which mimics knitting in the round, and I will show you how to do that today. The first thing that we need to do is figure out how many stitches we want to cast on. This is a chart that is similar to the one for the chart for the Galloway pattern. I made some changes to the actual pattern in here to be able to show you and demonstrate some things to you, but it's set up in the same way as the pattern for the sweater. This is the pattern. This shows a 6-stitch repeat that is repeated throughout the sweater. At the beginning of each round there are 4 extra stitches, and at the end of each round there are 3. So if you're figuring out how many stitches to cast on, first you need to see what gauge you're going for, and our target is 20 stitches and 22 rows for 4 inches. So we want to have a swatch that's bigger than 20 stitches across. So we want to cast on a multiple of 6 stitches for this 6-stitch repeat, and then we want to include the 7 stitches. In addition, we want to include 4 selvage stitches, 2 on each end. So for my swatch for the sweater, I chose 6 times 3, or 18 stitches, and then I added the 11 extra stitches, and I cast on 29 stitches for my swatch. For the swatch for this class, I'm just showing you 23 stitches because I want this to go a little bit faster for you. So I already cast on 23 stitches for my swatch for this demonstration. One thing that Jared includes in his chart too is a dominant and background color chart. For my class, I teach people how to knit stranded knitting using 2 hands. The dominant color is always in the left hand, and the background color is in the right hand. So I'm going to start knitting this row, and I'm going to start with the selvage stitches, and Jared tells us to knit the selvage stitches using both colors of yarn. So I'm going to be using the blue and the red for this first row, and I'm going to go ahead and knit this first stitch using blue and red. There we go. And I will do that for the second stitch also. Where did blue go? Here we go. Want to make sure that I don't knit with the tail. There we go. So those first 2 stitches are done with the blue and the red, and I'm going to place a marker there so I can keep track of where my edge is. Then I'm going to set up my hands to have the dominant color in my left hand and the background color in my right hand, and I'm going to start knitting the pattern here. It's red, blue, for the first 4 stitches. So that's red, blue, red, blue for the first 4 stitches. And then I'm going to do 2 repeats of this 6-stitch repeat. It's red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. So the first repeat is red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And the second repeat is red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And then I end with 3 stitches, red, blue, red, red, blue, red. And then I'm going to put another marker to show that I'm coming up to the edge, and I'm going to knit the last 2 stitches in both colors. There you go. Okay, so that's the first row. Now instead of turning it over to go ahead and start purling in the opposite direction, I'm going to mimic like I'm working the round, and I'm going to push my stitches to the end of the needle, and you'll be using a circular needle here, the circular needle you'll be using for your project. So I push all the stitches to the end, the other end of the needle, and I'm going to take, I want to stretch out my stitches too, spread them out good on the needle. Then I want to take these two strands at the back and bring them as one long float along the back of the swatch. And I want to make this very long because in his instructions, Jared tells you to cut this string at the end before you block your swatch. But once you cut that yarn, you can't use it again. So I wanted to save my yarn, so I keep a nice, really long float back there. And the second row has blue and red in it again, so we're going to use the blue and red together as our selvage stitches, and we're going to start the pattern here. The first 4 stitches are blue, 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 red for the second row. I'm going to set up my hand so that the dominant color is in my left hand and the background color is in my right hand. Okay, and I'm going to go blue, 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 red. Blue, 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 red. Okay, now this pattern repeat in here, the 6-stitch repeat is blue, red, red, blue, 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 red. And so I'm going to do that 6-stitch repeat. Blue, red, red, blue, 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 red. Red, red, blue, 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 and red. And I'm going to do that 6-stitch repeat again. But you'll notice that the red actually kind of comes around, and this, if you step back and look at it, is 3 reds, 3 blues, 3 reds, 3 blues, until you get to the last 3 stitches that are red, red, blue. So instead of saying red, red, blue, 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 red, 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 blue, 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 red the whole time through that row, I'll tell myself 3 reds, 3 blues, 3 reds, 3 blues, once I get past the first few stitches. Excuse me. So I'm red, red, and then blue, 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 and red. And then I have my last 3 stitches that are red, red, and blue. And then I'm going to knit my last 2 stitches in both colors again. And there you have it. Okay, so that's row 2. Now at this point, if you want to, you can tighten up the stitches on your edges. They're always going to be kind of sloppy, so don't feel like you have to make them perfect, but this is just a chance where you can kind of reset them and pull the yarn a little bit at the edges. So spread your stitches again, don't turn your needle over, and you're going to be stranding these 2 colors across the back. Again, see how I'm keeping the strands about the same length. And then knit the first stitch with those 2 colors. Now in row 3, we are going to be changing colors. We're going to be using red and white, and we're going to be slipping the blue stitches. So at this point, we're going to just let the blue hang, and we're going to knit this second selvage stitch with the red and the light color yarn. So I'm going to put my needle in for the second selvage stitch. I'm going to start to wrap with my red yarn. I'm going to add my light yellow yarn and knit 2 together. Okay, with these 2 colors. So now I put my yarn in the correct hands. The dominant color here is the lighter color, and the background color is the red. And this doesn't always stay the same. Sometimes the lighter color is the background color and the darker color is the background, or vice versa. But just check the chart and follow what Jared says. Okay, so this next row is light and then slip the blue and light, light. So the way that works is I knit with the light, I slip the blue as if to purl, and then do light, light. And then I do a red, light, light, slip the blue, light, light. So red, light, light, slip the blue, light, light. And the next repeat is going to be red, light, light, slip the blue, light, light. And then I'm going to end with red, light, light. Red, light, light. And then the last 2 stitches I will knit together with the light and the red together. There you go, like that. And so that's those 3 rows. So you'll continue knitting like this, stranding the colors in the back. These 2 colors get the first selvage stitch, the 2 new colors get the second, and you'll keep doing that until you get more than 22 rows. I would take it up to 30 rows, and then bind off with one of the colors. So that's how you do a speed swatch. And the next video is going to show you how to capture floats in the back. You'll notice on here that some of these floats are big and they could get caught on your jewelry or fingernails or things like that. So I'm going to show you in the next video how to catch those stitches in the back. See you later.